Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today I am sharing a new card created with products from the Hero Arts Spring 2024 catalog. We're going to start by building the background of our card, and this is going to be a die cut scene card. Scene cards are one of my favorite kind of cards to make, and add in some die cutting and I am here for it. Using Splash and Blue Hawaii inks, we're going to ink up a blue sky. Because our die cuts are taking up the majority of our design, I want to keep the background relatively simple. However, I absolutely love some sort of decorative touch in my background. Whether it's subtle or a little bit extra, I am here for it. And so I want to use this new script stencil to create some fun text in the background. It will not be legible per se, but it just kind of creates that awesome little touch. So I've applied the splash ink to about 3/4 of my panel first. Then I'm applying some Blue Hawaii ink. Once I have that, I did add a tiny touch of green apple along the bottom. This is mostly going to be covered up with the fence and the grass, but just in case a little bit peeks through, I want to go ahead and have that color here. I did use the stamp wheel to help hold my panel in place while I'm inking. You can see how awesome it holds my paper down while I'm doing that ink blending. Now, before I add my white stencil paste, I didn't want to accidentally pick any of that ink color up, so I just took a baby wipe and wiped that all away and made sure that my mat in my stamp wheel was completely clean and dry. Taking this stencil, I'm now going to add this over the top of my background using some white Hero Arts paste and the palette knife. I am going to apply this with a very thin coat. So it's going to give us not only text, which I love and usually achieve with a background stamp, but this is going to be text that has texture. Even though I want that texture, I want it to remain fairly light so that it's easy to apply my images over the top. And you'll notice that I really just kind of kept that to the top 3/4 of my panel as well. This panel does measure 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, so it's A2 size. Look how awesome that looks. So pretty. Off camera, I did die cut all of the components that I need for my scene. As you can see here, I have them laid out. The new peeking bunny is absolutely darling. Using some soft blossom ink, I am going to use a small round ink blending brush and add some rosy cheeks and also add some pink color to the insides of the ear. My bunny is die cut from an ivory cardstock. Now, once I have those little touches of pink, I will take some sand Hero Arts ink and a ink blending tool and add some extra color to my bunny. To really give depth and dimension to the elements in my card today, I am adding ink to almost everything, as you'll see here. I'm going to grab a glass mat for easy cleanup. I also could have used the stamp wheel if I wanted to use that again. Mine was actually drying. After applying the paste, I did go make sure that I cleaned my stencil, palette knife, and the stamp wheel insert really well before that caked on. I love using a glass mat for this step as the cleanup is super quick and easy. Adding a little bit of extra color around the edges of our die cut is really going to bring this darling peeking bunny to life. Up here in the upper right corner of the screen, I will be adding a link to some more peeking type cards where I created some Christmas, winter, and Halloween cards last fall using other peeking dies from Hero Arts. I love that they are adding more to this line because it is really awesome. Using a black Jelly Roll pen, I am going to color in the eyes and the nose on my bunny. When this is dry completely, I will be taking a white pen and adding in some highlights to the eyes and the nose to finish it off. Adding in this color to the face really brings this adorable bunny to life. Once we have that, we are going to grab our grass border. This is the butterfly foliage. We're going to take the green apple ink and add some color to this die cut border. In addition to the Peking bunny and butterfly foliage border and butterflies, plus little flowers you can see there, we are going to be using the new wood fence die. This is an amazing die for lots of scene building. I love it. I did die cut it from a wood grain cardstock, so it's going to kind of pick up the color a little bit differently. Using some Cup of Joe ink from Hero Arts, I'm going to go around the edges and just build up my color to this. And again, that wood grain is just going to kind of, you know, hold that color in some areas. I'm going around each board, the edges, and leaving the center the color of the cardstock. But adding this, just you can see it right here on screen, how it comes to life. We're going to be layering the fence, the grassy border, and then we're going to add the bunny in there. And then really it's just accessorizing the bunny and adding some beautiful spring flowers to the border. I don't know about you guys, but spring vibes, I am here for it. Warmer temperatures, the birds singing, everything greening up, and flowers and grass, all the good stuff. I am ready. Green grass, I'm ready for it. Tired of winter here. So here is the little white highlights. I always like to make sure that the black has completely dried, and it is such a small thing, but the way the face comes to life is always amazing. I glued the grass border to the fence just along the bottom edge. That allowed me to easily glue down my bunny. Look how cute that is, by the way. Oh my gosh, I just love it. For the sun hat, you can choose to use the sun hat or not for the bunny. I decided to go ahead and use it. I did die cut this from some Hero Arts Canary cardstock using Spicy Mustard Hero Arts ink to ink up the edges. And again, just deepen and darken it. We don't want it super flat. None of the rest of the elements on our card are going to be solid cardstock. And when that is the case, I find that it's best, in my opinion, to be consistent throughout the design. We're going to glue the hat down now to the bunny. We just don't want any of the head to show there. So cute. I'm going to get rid of that little bit of glue. There we go. Clean up my glass mat. I want to make sure I am really cleaning my glass mat in between each addition to my inking so that I'm not cross-contaminating. Using a little Pumpkin Hero Arts ink and then Cup of Joe, we're going to ink up the carrot. This is an awesome carrot, you guys. And obviously it's made to work with the Peking bunny. It comes in the Peking bunny set, but I also think it would work for a lot of different things as well. It's just a really nice size. It does have two parts. So we have the carrot itself and then the green top. We're going to ink the green top with a little bit of the green apple. Let's just go ahead and glue that carrot into our bunny's paws, just like so. You can see the scene coming to life right before your eyes, which is my favorite thing. And then in addition to the hat and the carrot, there is also a great little neck scarf and flower that you can use to embellish the bunny. I am going to be using both of those. We'll kind of come back to that in a minute. Look how cute the fence looks against our background. So let's go ahead and glue that down, get that to drying, because from here on out, it's just adding finishing details. I know there's lots of little parts and pieces on my desk. However, they're all pretty tiny, and to me, this is kind of what I consider the finishing details. So we have the bandana. I'm going to use taffy ink here to add a little bit of color. We'll also add the taffy ink to the inside of the flower that comes with the Peking Bunny set and add that flower to the hat. I love how all these little bits of color just bring the spring into this card. Now the flowers are super tiny. Most of these flowers that you're going to see here on my desktop over there on the right side. This little flower is the one that goes with the Peking Bunny set, but the rest of them come with the butterfly foliage. And that means they work really great with the border, or you can use them with lots of different things too. So really have fun with it. This we're going to use to decorate the border. Some of the flowers I added color, some I didn't. The darker colors, I just didn't go ahead and shade those at all. The lighter ones I did. That was kind of my rule of thumb. They are pretty tiny. You could probably get away with not inking any of them. Sometimes inking these little small pieces is kind of a pain. I probably should have grabbed my stamp wheel mat or another sticky mat to hold them down. That does make it a little bit easier when you want to add in that color. But I'm just adding, you can see a tiny bit of shading, and then we're going to build our flower garden. I have an assortment of butterflies. I didn't die cut the butterflies and the flowers apart. You can see the die there in the upper part of the screen. You could, and then you wouldn't have that. But I ended up die cutting multiples. I wasn't exactly sure how many I wanted or how I wanted to arrange them. So any of the extras I'm just going to hold on to and use for other projects later on. But those are going to go up near the top. So this is definitely a bottom 2/3 heavy card design. That last third up at the top obviously has the great text background, but then it's just going to be a fantastic place for our sentiment and then a couple of butterflies to help round out the scene. Once I started adding the flowers to my flower garden, it really brought the whole thing to life. Those little tiny pops of color are just the perfect little extra pop that my card needed for sure. I love how the flower garden looks, and I'm using little dabs of glue, using an embellishment wand and picking those up and popping them down in place. I am using the glue press. I absolutely love it. I know I've had several questions about how I like it. I do very much love the glue press. I did purchase that. I was not gifted it, and that is, I had seen it. I had been recommended it by several of you guys as well as a couple of my friends. And I have to say, I'm glad you guys encouraged me to get one because I love it. After I add some shading to my butterflies, I will be adding color to the center of the body with that same black Jelly Roll pen. That is what gives these butterflies so much fantastic detail, in my opinion. I'm going to lay my greeting that I'm using from the Spring Bunny stamp set so that I make sure when I apply my butterflies to my scene that I avoid that area. I did end up using the large and a small butterfly for my card. I kind of thought I might just use the small ones, but I like the difference in the two sizes. I probably could have even added another one kind of down near the fence, but I felt like I wanted to give my eye a little bit, or the viewer's eye a little bit of a place to rest, and I think it's balanced really nicely. Look at how amazing that black Jelly Roll pen looks on the body of the orange butterfly. Next, I am taking some little tiny gems. These are from Simon Says Stamp, and I am adding them tone on tone to the center of my flowers. I picked these. They are super teeny tiny, which is what I love, and they are already self-adhesive, so I am just adorning my flowers, all the flowers along the bottom, plus the flower on the hat with these great little gems. So cute. And a great little finishing touch. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment on a scrap of white cardstock and die cut it with the coordinating die. I absolutely love that there is a coordinating die for this. And so we will be die cutting that and then gluing it down right there on our card. I did go ahead and glue my panel to a white top fold card base as well. And I noticed that there was a little bit of texture paste hanging off the side, so I trimmed that, but I didn't trim the bunny ears. This would be a card that I would either send in a much bigger envelope or hand deliver. I don't want to cut the bunny ears off, I don't think, of this one. So I stamped my sentiment with black ink. I think that's going to show up really nicely. I'm going to use some wire snips to cut my coordinating die apart from the rest. Use a little repositionable tape to cut this out. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we're going to use liquid glue to glue that down right to the top of the card. So no foam adhesive. Now, that is almost never happens on my cards, but I didn't feel like I needed it here, and I absolutely love the results. So much fun. It is a great, fun, springy card and showcases some really awesome new products from the Hero Arts Spring Catalog 2024. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. All of the supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new paper crafting video or I go live. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.